What's up, everyone? We're back. Another episode. We've got big news. Gary, not with us tonight, but that's because he is newly a father. This past weekend, him and his girlfriend had their baby girl. So big congrats to Gary.
Shout out Gary. Congrats, man.
I mean, he didn't do shit, but that's the, I don't know. I don't know Mama's name.
Congrats to the
Shout
wife.
out. Yeah, exactly. Shout out Mama Bear.
Yeah, so today we're bringing in guest co-host Buds joining us, enjoying the beautiful weather out there in Massachusetts, cracking a cold one, and we have a special guest tonight as we're going into tournament season. May's here, Mr. Ricky Reilly. How you doing, Ricky?
What's up, boys? Thanks for having me. I'm on for a 1,550th time, but every time I think I get a little more excited. So I've been looking forward to this all day, and just the fact that Bud's here too just makes this 10 times better. But I'm definitely missing Gary. Definitely missing Gary.
We're all missing Gary.
Yeah. So if Gary was here, it'd be even better. But I don't think you could have found a better replacement.
Gary Carpenter music restored my faith in the name Gary after spending so many years telling Gary Danielson to shut the F up watching SEC football on CBS. It'd be Vern Lundquist and Gary Danielson. And Papa Vern was always sweet to listen to, but then Gary always had to interject some color commentary about shut the fuck up, Gary. So shout out Gary for, giving Gary's hope all over the world.
Yeah. He puts a very bright sunshine beaming light on the name Gary. He represents it well, and we love him.
The first time I met Gary, I'm just kidding. All right, let's move on.
Well, Ricky, you got a busy schedule coming up here in May, so kind of walk us through what you got going tournament wise, and yeah.
It all starts this weekend. I'm flying out Saturday. I'm flying down to Florida. Flying into Orlando, and then we're going to Port St. Lucie,
Nice.
the PGA Village. And right now, the PGA Professional Championship right now is going on down there. Last I checked, I think they were going off around like 2-ish. Michael Block, who has the legendary hole-in-one in the Oak Hill PGA Championship, he was in second. So it's pretty sick to think these big names are playing on the course that I will be playing starting Monday. So, it's really cool. Seems like it's going to be a really tough but fun course, pure as hell, and we're gonna take it day by day. I'm biting the bullet to get back at competing, and I think what I was trying to say there was biting at the bit. Definitely, I don't know. I butchered that one. I thought I maybe butchered it, and then I saw some faces, and I realized.
Listen, bite your bullets all you want. You can either chomp at the bit or champ is how it's spelled, CHAMP, but it's chomp or champing at the bit. I don't know. I married into a horse family. Horse people are weird. Ricky, I was going to ask you, this course that you're talking about, I was watching that too. I think the block party dropped a few spots, but he's still on the first page of the leaderboard right now. I just had it on upstairs. Humble flex. But when you go to a qualifier like this at a place, have you played the course before, first of all?
I have not.
Okay,
Nope.
So how do you prepare for a round, and what is the format? You got 18 holes, make it or break it?
Yeah, so this weekend is going to be an event, a championship, not a qualifier. So this is going to be a 3-day. So same, I'm going to attack that same question though, because that's a great question. When you travel and, you're not just going to play with your buddies, you want to figure everything out you can in the shortest amount of time. And you get one practice round and then it's go time. So, our practice round is scheduled for like 11:07 or 11:06 or something like that, a.m. on Sunday. So we're gonna soak it all in. I'm a big yardage book guy.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. I called them because I kind of got in a tight spot in Philadelphia, where I asked, and I got told by somebody, yeah, they have them, whatever. I didn't connect with the pro shop, and I got there and they didn't have them, and that's fine. I like to know ahead of time and maybe buy one from Strakaline or
Yeah.
Putt View or whoever, right? I just like having a book in my hand, and so I called and they do have them. So that's a big thing, especially for only having one practice round. Making some notes, and so yeah, that's a great question. Just to kind of play a few extra shots here and there, and while also challenging myself to get a good score, and just play relaxed and work on your breathing and stuff like that. Because before you know it, you're teeing off for the first tee and fighting the battles.
When you say breathing, I don't think a lot of amateur golfers truly understand how integral that is. And talk about that. What's the process you go through mentally when you're like, shit, I need to lock in, or it's time to work on this? Either what's the exercise, or literally what is your kind of steps to get you into that mode where, all right, I got to focus on the breathing, but usually that's tied into your swing thoughts somehow.
Absolutely. It all starts on the range. So I start right on the range, and, I'll throw some headphones in or something, and, it starts right there. Like, that's when the tunnel vision hits. And, with the breathing, it's just, if you kind of don't even think about it on the practice round day, it's hard to catch it on the first day, because you're just kind of in the mood of like, whatever, we're just playing golf, and that's just not the golf I want to play. And I want to play golf that I know every single shot I was dialed in. And so, like I said, it starts on the range, and then every shot, right? Like we're focusing on that breathing, and we're focusing on something other than the shot itself, right? So, I know what I want to do. I know what club I have in my hand. I'm standing over the ball, and I've done this a million times, right? There's no reason to think about this shot, right? Make sure I'm lined up. Make sure I'm, dialed into what I need to be. But then after that, just focus on something else. And breathing is my escape. And
so if you have that routine, that boulder starts rolling down the hill. Like you said, all right, my alignment, my steps, my swing, my that. So you let that boulder go, and your mind focuses on something else that is just as important, the breathing aspect. So it's like, inhale, exhale. People think it's, you laugh at it. Yeah, that's how breathing works. But do you even think about it as much as trying to time an inhale and an exhale with a swing? Or is it much more about just understanding that deeper breaths, slower breaths, knowing that that's going to set the cadence for everything else?
Sure. Yeah, definitely just deeper and slower.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be like, on the take back, because I can see that being beneficial, but for me, that gets me thinking about the swing too much, right? Because then if I'm taking it back and I feel like, oh, I didn't hold it long enough or something like that.
Did I start my exhale or my hips first? And then,
exactly.
That timing. Okay.
Golf is such an easy mental game, as we all know. So, it's something to give me an escape from the thoughts. And obviously that's easy for me to say sitting here and not being in competition, but it gets tough when things aren't going well, right? You want to resort back to panic when things aren't going well, right? So, I don't really think anyone thinks about breathing when they're, 5 over after 2 holes, right? They're like, we need a birdie. We need, the alarms are going off in their head, right? But I think that's the biggest part of my growth as a golfer over the past year or two, is the fact that no matter where we're at, we can always climb back, right? And I can get up in the morning of the first day and say, my goal today is to shoot 2 over, right? And as great as that would be, realistically, that's just not the approach I want to take. my goal is I'm going to focus on every single shot, and I'm going to promise myself that I have the skills needed to be able to be successful in this tournament. And from there, I'm just going to let the game do its thing. Let my game play its game. And, if I have expectations and I'm 3 over after 3, all I'm thinking about is the fact that I need to birdie, versus if I go out there and just think about, man, that last chip was great, but is it Arnold Palmer or Gary Player? Who says the most important shot is the next one?
Oh shit! That one I don't know.
Oh, okay,
sure.
I heard that the other day, and
I want to say Gary Player, but I'm not sure.
Okay,
but
another guy who puts a good Gary name to it.
Yeah,
and
Gary's getting a lot of love.
And so I love that quote, because the most important shot is the next one, right? So right now my only thought is
Ben Hogan.
Oh, I was off. Another legend, though. I'm taking advice from that guy all day. So yeah, right now, my only thought is just, what can I do at home to make myself better, right? I've been eating well. I've been, I work with a personal trainer at Soma Physical Therapy. A little shout out, free plug there. Go check them out. I love them. I'm going to meet with them Thursday before I hop on a plane Saturday and get the body fully dialed and eating well, hitting the range, just doing what I can do. Because thinking about the tournament right now just does me no good in the fact of, stressing about scores or anything like that. But boys, I got to tell you, I am pumped to get back out there and compete. It's been a long winter.
Yeah.
And I am ecstatic.
It's cool seeing just how far you've come, with the mental side of the game since we started talking, last May or last April, the first time you were on. Because, your game, I'm sure, has improved as well, but, obviously you were, pumped to get to these tournaments for the first time and not really knowing what to expect. But now you know what to expect. You've been in those different pressure situations and just seeing how you've adapted and have more of that routine in place going into these tournaments.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's a big thing for me, and I'm really glad to have grown in that aspect. There's a lot more growing to do, but I appreciate that. That's nice.
Who's on the bag for you this week?
Oh, it's my pops.
Yeah,
my pops. He is my biggest supporter, man. I can't express enough how much I know one day I'm going to look back at this. No matter what, I'm not going to remember the scores, right? I'm not going to remember, every single shot I hit. What I'm going to remember is the fact that I had my dad on my back, and, no matter what was happening, he's always there with a smile. He's also, my biggest fan. And, I can't say enough great things about how appreciative I am of him and his support. So he'll be on my bag all year. And, we can jump back to this tournament, but to kind of bounce off of that question, I'm going to be driving to Indianapolis. I come home from Florida, and I think I'm home for 5 days, and then I drive to Indianapolis. And I was looking at our adaptive golf headquarters schedule, and I saw there was an Indiana Adaptive Open. So the way it works is, and I'm signed up for the Indianapolis qualifier for USGA again.
Yeah,
but it buds up, no pun intended, to it buds up to the qualifier practice round. Right. So I'm going to get there. I'm going to play a practice round for the Open, for the Adaptive Open, play 2 days. The next day is the qualifier practice round, and then the qualifier. So, and the courses are 15 minutes apart.
Where are you playing? Do you know?
The Golf Club of Indiana.
Okay. Both of them?
No, the qualifier is going to be at Broadmoor Country Club, where I played last year and qualified. So when I saw that was an option, I'm I definitely wanted to go back there with how well I played last year. And obviously it's a course I'm comfortable with. And I missed going to a playoff by one stroke for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And, I want a little revenge on that course. So I'm looking forward to it. And the Adaptive Open in Indiana is going to be great. Derek Green out there, he does great work for Indiana golf. Couldn't appreciate him and his efforts more. But anytime I get to support him and his organization, I definitely will jump on that. And it seems like a pretty nice course, but really it's just the fact that I'm going to get more swings in before the biggest qualifier, of my year. And that's my main goal, right? Like I tell you guys, I don't look ahead of things, and it's one swing, one day, one event at a time. But at the end of the day, I want to make the USGA tournament. And
Yeah, for sure.
everything I have done last year, everything I did over the winter, everything I'm doing today and tomorrow and the next day are for the big events, right? I want to be a big name. We got Albert Boker, who's the number one short stature in America, and right behind him is Ricky Reilly. And, I want to be above that. I don't want to be behind anybody. So I want to be the best I can be while also, being a good person and stuff and still living my life. But, I understand I'll never be a paid professional, but at the same time, if you're going to do something, go full gas. Right. And, so at the end of the day, I really want to go to those big events, and qualifying means a lot. And, last year, I don't think I appreciated it as much as I do this year. Whereas I went into that event last year, the qualifier, kind of thinking like, this is my first ever, adaptive experience. I don't really understand it all, but I'm going to go play. And, and then I walk into the practice round and I'm playing with a double leg amputee and a one-arm golfer, and there's sticks. Yeah. And I'm like, shit, we got something going here. And, I'm meeting some fabulous people just in that one day. And so I'm like, let's do this. And I go back and I shoot the best round I've ever shot in my life, a 74 in competition, no less. And, that's when it started. I kind of gave my dad the look of like, we might have something here,
yeah,
this is fucking cool, man. And I spent the 2 months in between the qualifier and the event, just spending some time getting ready. And next thing you know, I'm living on a golf course because golf is my life. I bleed golf.
Yeah.
I just, everything is golf right now in my life. And I'm so blessed to be able to do that. And, I'm meeting some amazing people at these events.
Thanks for watching today's episode.
To see more of our content, be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube. We can be found at Basic Bogeys on all platforms.
Thanks. We hope to see you on the next one.